Oh yes, here we go. Here they are. Here they are. The new clubs have arrived. Guys, Dan Hendriksen here. We're at Torquay Golf Club, and today we're going to be putting my new clubs up against my old clubs. And what I mean by that is that we're going to try and spec these clubs up as close as I can get to my old clubs. And the reason for that is because I've really enjoyed using these clubs in the last year. However, these ones are going to come in slightly different out the box than what these ones are, because the two companies come at different specs when it comes to their standard. So let's hit some balls with these now. Let's get an idea on what they're sort of performing like. We'll also get some measurements of weights with them and see if I can spec them up perfectly. So in my current Titleist spec, I am 2 degrees flat with a standard length option in the iron. So Titleist spec, standard specs with Titleist with a 7 iron is 62 degrees in lie angle. Now for me, I've got this set at 2 degrees down from that, so mine's set at 60 degrees. The length of a 7 iron, the normal standard length 7 iron, is 37 inches in length, and I've got that exactly the same. Now when it comes to the Cobra iron, we've got a slightly different standard spec. So the standard for Cobra with this particular set is we've got 62.5 degrees in lie angle. Now that's half a degree more upright than what you would get in the Titleist. Now for me, I've ordered these at 2 degrees flat, so these come in at 60.5 degrees of a lie angle, which at the moment is possibly not quite right for my spec. Now the standard length on these Cobra irons is at 37.25, so I've got 1/4 of an inch slightly longer than what I'm getting out of my Titleist. Now if you look at the actual specs on the Cobra website, you'll see that the Arcos option is at 37.5. Now I didn't order Arcos in my grips because I didn't want to have that. I wanted to go to this multi-compound grip. So therefore you're going to see a slight difference of 1/4 of an inch again. So you just got to be mindful when you're ordering clubs that there's no set standard. So with that in mind, I now need to get a basic measurement of what both of these clubs are getting for me. The other thing is how they feel to me, and what I mean by that is the swing weight of them. Now my Titleists have a swing weight of D2. I've got a Project X shaft. Now if I look at the swing weight of what I'm getting out of my Cobra, which is exactly the same shaft, the same grip, everything, I'm getting a swing weight of D5. So I'm getting very much a different type of weight from these two particular clubs. And I'm feeling that instantly. When I pick up the Cobra club, it feels heavier overall to me compared to what I'm getting out of the Titleist. Now, if you did an overall weight of both of these, I'm getting 435 grams of a dead weight with this club, which is the Titleist, compared to 445 grams out of a dead weight with the Cobra. So there is very much a different feel when I swing both these clubs. Now, when it comes to swing weight, it's not something that I've got overly worried about over the years, because I think that actually what you'll start to do is you'll start to adapt to those swing weights as you move through the bag. I think if you speak to lots of golfers, they'll say the same sort of thing to you. So getting the exact same swing weight as the Titleist from the Cobra, I think is going to be a little bit more difficult. I think I'd need to spend a bit more time on a tour van to get that absolutely precise. But if I can get it as close as possible to this particular club, then it's going to start to feel a lot nicer for me personally. Now let's have a little look at the numbers that I've got from both of these clubs and just see if there's anything that we need to do to change this club to make it feel a little bit more like this one. So I just want to give you some numbers with regards to the spec on the Titleist to get us going with, and we're talking about a dynamic lie here, dynamic movement, so as I'm coming into impact. If we start off with my lie angle, we've got 1 degree, so I'm 1 degree toe up, which is about right. I normally average around sort of half a degree or 1 degree a little bit upright. So if I was looking to get these absolutely spot on for me, I would need to bring that club maybe 1 or half a degree slightly flatter for my perfect spec. But I do like to hit that little shape from right to left, and I think the club just being a little bit more upright enables me to be able to do that. So I'm not too concerned with the lie being 1 degree slightly upright. If we then look at the strike performance from my current Titleist, I'm 1 millimeter on an average in the toe, and I'm 2 millimeters on an average low in the face. Now, again, for me, if I can try and replicate that with what I'm getting from those Cobras, I think we'll be absolutely on a winner. Now, let's give you some numbers from what I'm getting from this Cobra iron as well. Specs with the Cobra, straight out the box, how I asked Cobra to produce it for me. Lie angles at 2.6 degrees upright. So remember, they are ½ degree more upright than what my current one is, but again, because of the length difference, we're starting to move that club maybe a little bit more upright, and this is something you need to be very much aware of when you're moving from companies to companies. Their standards, as I've said before, are not going to be the same. If we then look at my strike performance, I'm averaging 6 millimeters in the heel and 4 millimeters low. So you can see that my strike is getting closer to the heel of the club than what I was used to at the Titleist, and I'm putting this down to the fact that we've got these clubs just a fraction slightly longer in the actual spec. So for me, what I want to try and do now is if I can maybe take a 1/4 inch off the clubs, bring them back down to that normal length that I'm kind of used to, it might also help me with flattening that club down a fraction. So just try and bring it down more to that lie that I'm used to having with my Titleist. So after we've made this adjustment with the club, so I've taken 1/4 inch off this Cobra iron now. If we look at the lie angle, I've gone from a 2.6 average toe up to now 1.9. So just by chopping off the end of the club, bringing it down to that 37 inches, has brought that lie angle just down to that 1.9. It's still probably 0.9 or 1 degree too upright, and that's where I would now need to get them bent into position, which we will have a little look at. The strike performance though has gone from very much in the heel to now 2 millimeters in the toe and 4 millimeters fractionally low in the face. I'm always someone that tends to, especially in the studio, tends to kind of catch it a little bit more on the up on the way through here, because I'm obviously sweeping off the top of the mat. So most of my strikes in the studio do come out fractionally low. Now, the other thing that we've got to take into consideration is as we start to maneuver the lie angle, we're also going to start to move strike around. So that's quite a common theme. It's something that you need to be aware of as well. As soon as you start to maneuver those lie angles and lengths, you're going to start moving that strike performance across the face. Now we need to look at the actual lie of the club, and I'm feeling based on that we need to bring that down probably just 1 more degree. Now, one thing you've got to take into consideration when you're ever changing your clubs is, have a little look at whether you're going to look to change the lie angle or the length. Now, if you're considering changing the length, make sure you get your length changed first before you start tweaking around with the lie angle, because as soon as you can see what I've got with my numbers there, as soon as you start to change the length of the club, you're going to start manipulating the lie angle of the club and how you deliver that club into the ball. Really, really important that you go through a step-by-step process and eliminate all the other options that you've got. Perfect. Now, with the changes that I've made to this club by taking that 1/4 inch off, it's changed the way in which this club is going to feel for me, because the swing weight has gone from that D5 position to now kind of more like D3. So by changing that, taking that a little bit off the end, it's given me a bit more weight down on the head side, which is then going to start to feel slightly different when I go to hit some shots. Now for me, I want to say that by changing the swing weight of the club, it's going to make a massive difference in the feel. During the swing, I'm not feeling a great deal of difference. The only thing that felt slightly different to me was the actual dead weight of the club. When I picked it up, put the club down by the ball, it felt a little lighter. Now you got to think, this is supposed to be feeling fractionally heavier in the head, but for me, as I put it down and swing the club, it feels a fraction lighter, which is closer to what I was getting from my Titleist club. So I've just moved this head now 1 degree flatter to see if we can get those numbers to match up with that Titleist at 1 degree upright when I come into impact. Let's hit some balls now and give us some numbers.
Not a line ball. No, missed.
Let's give you then some final numbers of what I'm getting from these irons. And if we start off with lie angle straight off the bat, 0.8 up. So I've now managed to move it closer to that 1 degree up to what I was trying to get from my Titleist irons. And you can see there strike wise as well, I'm now center in the club face and just 4 millimeters low. So really have built these clubs now to sort of blend into what I had with my old Titleist. And that's going to give me all the confidence that I need when I finally get them out onto the golf course. So there you go, there's a little insight into what I have done to help build my golf clubs around my game. Now, the message from this video is that what I want you to consider is that when you purchase clubs from different manufacturers, you're going to get potentially some different standards from each company. And obviously I'm aware that Cobras and Titleists are slightly different, but I wanted to order it to match it in so I could create this video for you. And this is exactly the same if you're buying on eBay or you're buying secondhand. Make sure that you get your Club Pro or fitter to help you develop these clubs around your game. All of these clubs can be moved within reason, but you can see there with a little bit of touch here and there from changing the length of the shaft, changing the lie, I can build these clubs to suit my game. But I'd like to hear what you think about this video. Is it something you've ever considered when you've purchased golf clubs yourself? I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel and you like what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button, and I'll look forward to seeing you again on the next video.